Welcome back to A Life of KG. Today I get to interview Samantha, who is the president of the hair and beauty charity. I really wanted to find out more about the charity, who they help, hear some stories and find out how you can get involved. So without further ado, here she is.
Flirties, as a renowned beauty supplier and fully accredited training provider, can help you with all your professional products for lashes, brows, tanning, waxing and nails. Follow us on social media at FlirtiesHQ or visit our website www.flirties.co.uk for news, updates and offers, and you can use the code KGPRO to get 10% discount off your next order with us.
Samantha, thank you for coming on The Life of KG. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good. So normal KG style, we're going to start off with some quick fire questions for you.
Okay.
So, coffee or tea?
Neither.
Coffee or, okay then, so juice or wine?
Oh, wine, obviously.
Beach or pool?
Oh, pool, definitely.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Lashes or nails?
Oh, good one. Nails.
Oh, facial or massage?
Massage every time.
Really?
Yeah. I just, I don't have, I've worked in the industry a long time. I just don't have the patience for facial. I need something to happen there and then. Yeah.
Figure you out. Working from home or working from an office?
Office.
A lot.
The people. Our industry is about the people. It's got to be about people.
Definitely. And then Facebook or Instagram?
Oh, well, for personal, neither. For business, Instagram.
Love it. So can you please introduce yourself and just tell us what you do, Samantha?
Yeah, thank you. And thank you very much, Katie, for bringing me onto your podcast and to share what we do with all of your listeners. So my name's Sam Grocutt. I own an PR agency called Essence PR, and I've been in the industry for 25 plus years or so. And I specialize in beauty, hair and beauty especially. And I have also worked with quite a few professional beauty brands. But my other hat on, which obviously we're going to be talking to you today, is that I'm also the president of the hair and beauty charity. So the hair and beauty charity is still quite weirdly a very unknown charity in our industry, even though we've been going since 1836. So it is one of the most oldest charities, or we were benevolent. We were actually called the Hairdressers Orphan Fund when we first established. And basically we've had the same ethos all the way through, which is to help fellow hair and beauty professionals who fall on financial hard times. So we literally are there as a lifeline to people to give them money so that they can live the life that they need to and so forth. So it's quite a unique charity, because with a lot of charities, usually they focus on one area, whereas for us it could be everything from domestic violence to homelessness to obviously COVID to illnesses, disability, cancers and various things like that. So we cover a whole host of support mechanisms that we can do for people as long as they've been in our charity. So it's very much, a charity for people in our industry. And I just think it says a lot, I think, about us as an industry, that we've had a charity going for almost over 170, 180 years, and was one of the first in the country to ever be established. So I think that says a lot. I think there's lots of surveys out there about the sort of hair and beauty industry being the happiest, but I also think we're actually probably one of the most giving as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
And I've been seeing, obviously, now the change of name as well, the hair and beauty charity, it's been popping up so much more since COVID, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think, it's an interesting one. I've been involved with the charity for probably about 12, 13 years or so. Helen Ward actually introduced me to it many years ago. I was working with her and she said, come along to this meeting, just one. You don't need to, see how you feel. Obviously, 12, 13 years later, still there. So we tend to we meet once a month. During COVID, actually, we were meeting weekly because obviously the speed and the need for help really increased. So as a committee, there's usually around about 20 of us on the committee that we will meet monthly. We're now doing a mixture of in-face and also virtual, so people, because we have people from up and down the country helping us. And they are from sort of manufacturers through to hairdressers to beauticians, PRs, journalists and so forth. Everybody within our industry is helping it. But I think what happened was, although we've been going, a long time, we've had various name changes. Some listeners might recognise it as the Hair and Beauty Benevolent, which was HAB. That was another name we went by. And then we moved to the charity status. I think it was about 2017 or so, and then rebranded to the Hair and Beauty Charity in 2019. And it pretty much says what we are. We're basically a charity for the hair and beauty industry. And I think we'll keep that. So we help anybody who's, from nail techs to beauticians to massage therapists to hairdressers, barbers, as long as you've been in the industry and I think it's 3 years that you need to be in the industry for. But during COVID, obviously things changed a little bit. And so we had to relax some of those sort of rules that we sort of work towards. Because we're a small charity, so we don't have a huge pot of money, but we do have money that literally we're raising all through the year. That's through a mixture of manufacturers, coming on board and sort of donating money and sponsoring us, or we do fundraising activities, and then actually the general people in our industry also raise money for us quite regularly. So we have these sort of set areas that people need to sort of, basically, if they go onto the website, which is the hairandbeautycharity.org, there's like a list of criteria of what you need to be able to, apply for charitable help. And it's quite strange because, we kind of think in our industry, would people really need it? Would people, because we're all seen as quite affluent and sort of, fun and easygoing, but actually there's a huge amount of people who are living on the breadline in our industry. And this was pre-COVID as well. So things like people aren't, you won't expect to, find out that you're ill, or you're not expecting to be, your child has got a disability and you have to buy all this new equipment and things like that. So it's all those little things that the unexpected, and that's what this charity is for. And during COVID, obviously, that was a whole other conversation going on. And as you can imagine, I think we had something like 170% increase in requests for help in 2020.
Wow.
It was pretty shocking, actually.
Yeah, no wonder you're having weekly meetings trying to sort all of that out.
Yeah, we used to in sort of usual times prior to COVID, we'd probably be looking at around 10 to 12 case studies a month. We were getting that a day.
Wow.
Yeah, in the peak. Yeah. So as you can imagine, and also normally we'd meet monthly, and we would then, obviously it takes a little bit of time, but again, we realized people couldn't wait for have money. We had to literally sort the money. So literally if we had the meeting on the Tuesday, the money was in their bank on the Friday.
Wow, what an incredible thing to be able to do for people, and actually for our industry to know that there is a charity there that is dedicated to them.
Yeah. People are so, I was at the British Hairdressing Awards on Monday night, Katie, and that's obviously like, there's about 1,400 people in that room, all from our sector, obviously more the hair side, but so many people still didn't know what we do. We were going around trying to get money off people. This is what we do. And, they were having a fun environment, drinks are flowing. It's a great time to come and ask money for some, get people to give, donate money. We were selling raffle tickets on the night. But everyone you speak to, when they heard about it, was like, this is such a wonderful, wonderful charity. Yeah, I'm very happy to support it. And I think, doing talks like with you, Katie, and so that your listeners, if everybody, can understand what we're doing and then tell one other person what we're doing, and it's not necessarily always about fundraising and giving us money, it's just letting people know we're there, because somebody might need us and doesn't know that we're there for them. And the more people talk about us, the more people we can help, and then the more money we can raise, and the more money we can give away, and everything like that. So it's a great cycle. And when you contacted me, I was like, yep, I'll talk to you. Perfect. Another opportunity to reach a whole new round of people who probably don't even know that this charity exists, Katie.
Yeah, exactly. So if you are listening and really feel that you need that help, then definitely reach out. But then also, I work with so many salon owners, and we're always doing fundraising and games in salon to raise money, or bake caking, or whatever that might be. And we always go and but everyone always goes to support them big charities, the known well charities all of the time.
Yeah.
If they knew that there was this.
And do you know what? I support, I've got charities that are close to my heart. Obviously this is one of them, but I've got other ones that are personal to me as well. So I like to sort of share my love and sort of donate every month. And I have my direct debit set up, and I just think we don't want to be greedy. So if you've got it, like, and quite often with salons and salon owners, they've got a charity that's close to their heart. So what we sometimes say to them is like, maybe you could donate 25% of those takings to your industry charity and 75% to the other charity, on that side. And then that way, even just those little bits of money really help us, and you'll see a big difference. Just like, for example, at Christmas time, we give the children, we have around about 100 children that we support every month with money. We give them a £25 gift voucher. So some of these kids, that is their present this year. And last year was especially tough because people didn't have the money. We are helping a huge amount of extra people on that side. And then this year we're also giving to the beneficiaries a £50 food voucher so that they can actually go and not worry about what they want to buy for Christmas dinner, or if whatever festival it is that they celebrate. They've got some money, they know they've got that. And the charity contacted our beneficiaries about a week ago to let them know this was our new initiative for this year, that we will be giving them this extra donation of money. And the replies back from the charity, for Natalie and Sarah at the charity, were like really, really heartbreaking. It was like, thank you so much. You don't understand what this is going to do. This just means it's just one less worry for us. Because although, we're kind of, the COVID side, we're back working and everything like that again, life isn't back to normal, and I'm sure you and working with your salons, Katie, you're fully aware of this. People are, the businesses haven't returned to their pre-COVID times yet. Whether that's the manufacturers, whether that's the salons, whether that's the freelancers. So I think, we've got to be quite respectful of the people who are still struggling out there. And as a charity, we are still helping those people. So we are still giving them money every single month so that they can, they don't have to go to the food banks, which is what they were doing. They were going to food banks, but they can buy their children the new winter coat, which they couldn't afford to buy. So all those little things. And then obviously this time, as a kid, can you imagine like not getting a Christmas present this year? And then suddenly this is it, you get your own voucher, you can buy what you want as well. So those are the things. And that's what I mean. So even if, with your salon owners and your contact, don't think you have to do 100% of your fundraising. Maybe just, split it between us and something and one of the other charities. And I think that's, that's a real takeaway as well.
Definitely, because you're now president of the hair and beauty charity. So from Helen asking you to come along to a meeting however many years ago to now being the president, how did that come about?
Well, yeah, that was a journey actually. I've always been very involved with obviously the committee, and obviously being a PR, one of the things PRs do is we're very good networkers. So it's something that's been a charity that's close to my heart. My industry, I work in this industry. My sister is a hairdresser. My brother is a barber. I've been a hair PR for 20 odd years. So this is my life. This has given me, my business, my future, my happiness and so forth. So I think it's very much about giving back. So I was always really, really happy to sort of spend that time with the committee, talking fundraising, talking, ideas and events and helping with the PR and promoting it and so forth. And it was just like a natural progression. So I've actually been president for 4 years. So this is quite unusual. Normally it's a 2-year time, and then obviously you change. But I was a joint president for the first 2 years. And then just because the way things were changing with the charity, there wasn't anybody to sort of step into that role. So I said, look, I don't mind doing another 2 years. This was in sort of November 2019. Obviously COVID didn't exist, no one knew this was coming. And I said, it's fine, I've been doing it pretty much for 2 years anyway, another 2 years I can do that, nothing's really going to change. And then of course the whole world changed its hat. So not only was I then obviously running my own business, and having to manage, the team, the clients, the work from home, obviously, people pulling back, just debating, how we're going to work financially as a company, but also the charity suddenly became pushed into the limelight with, more and more people talking about us, more and more people needing help. So it was, suddenly there I was thinking that I was just going to have this nice, easy-ish run of, continuing it through, to actually having probably 2 years of the most full-on, I'd say, yes, stressful 2 years of my life, really. But I kind of feel it was good for me to be that person, rather than, because I know the charity so well, I know the role of what the president needs to be doing. So I think actually, it probably made sense in the end that it was somebody like myself who's been so involved with the charity and has actually almost probably been doing it anyway, to just continue and keep the sort of the charity sort of focused and, continuing. But, we've got a great committee as well. And I think that's really important, people like, Jane Lewis-Orr, who's actually going to be becoming the president after me. So I think this is Jane's 5th term. She's done it over the years. She's been involved with the charity for a long time, and at various times has sort of stepped up, and she is stepping up again. And Helen Ward actually is vice president. So we're going to have some really strong females behind the charity again. I'm still involved. I'm a trustee of the charity as well. So although I'll be stepping back from presidency at the end of the year, I'm still involved as a trustee and still very much involved with the charity as well, because, as I said, it means a lot to me. And I think also the fact that, I have family who's in our industry. So I, again, not only from friends, friends in my clients and stuff like that, but actually hearing and seeing what happened to my brother and sister during that time as well. You've got to give back. And I think that's really important. And I think, paying it forward, I think, is really key for us as an industry.
Yeah, I agree too. Paying it forward and just always giving back. In all entrepreneurs, salon owners, just you as a person, I think it's very, very important.
Yeah,
definitely. So obviously you've been in the hair and beauty space for a long time. How did that come around? Did you just follow in your family's footsteps?
Yeah, pretty much, actually. I knew I wanted to get into PR. And then, interestingly, it was my sister. My sister's a hairdresser, and she used to do a lot of session work and used to do editorial. And she was working very closely with Goldwell at the time. And they were looking for a new PR person. So she kind of introduced me to a PR agency, and they were doing some PR for her as well in her salon at the time. So this was, a good 20 odd years ago. So it was a little bit of nepotism, because obviously my sister was a client. So, but at the same time, I did have a degree in media anyway. And, obviously you have to prove yourself. So I started that was my initial time, was, hair PR. Then I moved into more consumer, sort of working with some like big high street brands. And then I set up Essence in 2004. So yes, it's been going for quite a long time. And I love the industry. So for me, it was always going to be about beauty. And some of my clients are people like Fudge and Osmo, Salon System. So the professional side, I've got on that side. And then I've just been involved with so many things, as you say, PRs, we're networkers, that's what we do. So, and I just love our industry so much. I feel my throat's a bit tight tonight, because obviously we did have a late night on Monday. So, so excuse me if I keep having a little drink of water, because I've got a lot of talking this week.
And the events, is great that all the events are back, aren't they? The awards and the shows. It's just well, hopefully getting back to slight normality again.
Yeah, well, I went over to Pro Beauty and Salon International the other week as well. So that was lovely to see all the stands there and see people I hadn't seen for a long time. So it just feels a little bit of normality, doing that sort of thing on that side. So I think even with what's happening right now with the news side of things, I think we've just got to keep positive and, keep doing what we need to do.
Yeah, 100% for sure. So a lot of people, I'd say, get very, very stuck in their own bubble of life and don't really know what's going on behind the scenes of other people's lives. Like you said right in the beginning, like there's people right under our noses in our industry that are struggling, that need to reach out to you guys. Is there any kind of stories you can share where you guys have helped people come out the other side?
Yeah, I think a really an interesting one. We've got, there's so many case studies, Katie, to be honest, as you can imagine, after all this time, but I think that, and I think with the COVID, I think on a positive side, although we had so many people asking us for help, a lot of it was short term. It was literally for 1 year. We can help people with one-off grants. We can help people with longer term. We have some people who've been with us maybe like 20 years, and we support them every month. That might be like young children have grown up with, and various things like that. But I think with what we did find was, although we had a huge influx of support, requests for support, who we were able to help, what happened was when the salons reopened again earlier this year, a lot of those people did come back to us to say, thank you so much. That was exactly the lifeline I needed right then. But, business is picking up. I'm strong, I'm confident, I can do this sort of thing. But it was just lovely to know that you were there. So actually they kind of came to us to say, thank you, but we don't need your help. We don't need help anymore. And that is really positive, that actually, people do come back to us to say, actually, thank you so much. I don't need any more money from you. And actually what I'm going to do is, next time I'm fundraising, I'll be thinking of you guys as well, which is quite really lovely to know. There's also things like, for example, case studies of, there's a lovely woman that we're, helping, and she's, again, like through abuse, basically. So it's a lovely woman who'd been with her husband for 34 years, and she, eventually had to leave with her children, and sort of rented accommodation. And, from that, then obviously like mental issues that she then had, like breakdowns, which meant that she couldn't work. And then obviously had no money for rent, no money for and so forth. So we actually sort of were able to sort of like step in during that time and make sure that, something as simple as, being able to, feed her child, pay her rent, is one less stress on her shoulders. So she's now able to then start to sort of relook at life again in a more positive way and get herself back on track without having to worry about some of the, the bigger things that were really holding her back. Also, there was a lovely story, and it's actually, it's an unusual story, but again, this is what we're saying about people don't necessarily know what's going to happen. So this wasn't necessarily COVID related, but it happened around the same time, and obviously then with COVID, it then just exacerbated what was happening. There was a young couple up in the Northwest, actually, and I did an interview with them for a TV program during the COVID time as well. They had their own salons. They were very successful, and the mum was 29 years old, and she suddenly had a major stroke, and basically was then bedridden in hospital. She had, I think she was something like 3 young children under the age of 5. So a husband and wife, very successful salon, 3 young children. She has a stroke. Then COVID hit as well. So not only they had to close the salon because of COVID. Then they had to rehabilitate the wife as well. The father couldn't work because obviously he then had 3 young children and his wife, who basically needed to sort of learn how to walk and talk and like live again. And we heard about them in about, I think it was around about the February of 2020 when we heard about them. And then we were able to sort of help them. Eventually, round about September, October time of 2020, the father was then ready to start looking for work, because obviously his wife was out of hospital. She started to walk again, started to talk a little bit. But then COVID kicked in again. And he wasn't able to find a job. So basically, as a family, they've gone from having, a great lifestyle to suddenly having nothing. And obviously with the COVID, and then obviously again, it happening again in November, then it happened again in 2021. So actually, as that family, we've continued paying them and their children an allowance, so that they can actually keep like living for as long, in a way that they need to. So, and actually that's still happening at the moment, because again, life hasn't quite, worked out for them. And I think that's, yes, that was to do with COVID a bit, but actually, she's 29 years old. You cannot plan for having a stroke on that side. And just to know the charity was there is really, really, really good.
And how powerful. I mean, that's given me shivers that,
Yeah.
to just, and it was always my fear pre-COVID, you can lose anything in a second. And
Yeah.
you really can lose anything in a second, can't you?
Yeah, exactly, sort of thing. So, and there's another young girl that we've been helping, and this is a bit of a tough one, is that, she was pregnant during COVID and then made homeless and basically sofa surfing. So could you imagine, like, it's hard enough that, being pregnant it is, but then to have all of that, she lost her job, she lost her home, she was pregnant. So as a charity, what we've been working very closely with the council and local estate agents, so that when she could find a place, because of course then she had no money to actually even put a deposit down. So as a charity, we actually were behind backing so that she had the money, so that she could pay her deposit and her month's rent, so that she could then have a place for her child as well. So it's all those things that, again, it's kind of all these little stories you just don't realize they're happening behind the scenes. And it's just knowing that there is somebody like us as a charity there to help them.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, incredible. And I'm sure loads of people listening to that or watching this would be like, they want to help more, or they want to be involved. Like, how can people help towards charity, and how can people be more involved?
Yeah, well, I think from helping is talking, doing things like this, Katie. So again, thank you again for the opportunity. I think the key thing is, yes, as a charity, we want money. We always want money. What charity doesn't do? But actually, for me, it's also about like telling your colleagues that this charity exists, so that we can help more and more people. We do some fundraising through the year. Obviously, it's been a bit hard in the last couple of years because obviously the activities aren't there. But at the moment, we have a raffle ticket going on, which is we're selling raffle tickets for £1. You can win £1,000 cash and some rather lovely vouchers from Selfridges, Tiffany, and so forth. And then we draw that, I think it's early January. So I'm not sure when this is going to be going out, but if it goes out before that, then your listeners can go onto the website and buy the charity raffle tickets there. We also do things like bike rides throughout the year, golf days. We've just done a wonderful initiative with a lot of colleges around the country. So you were talking about like bake sales and cake sales and things. So we just had a whole week where it was our first year doing. We had 13 colleges signed up from around the country who basically spent the week fundraising and talking about the charity, which was really great. And it wasn't so much about the money they were raising, it's just getting to that younger, new audience in our industry on hair and beauty to hear about what we're doing. Because obviously, if we can reach that age group and that level, then they can speak more about it as they get older and as they move to different salons or careers, what they're doing, helps spread the sort of what we do. So yes, definitely on our website we do lots of activities, and even people like Alan Howard recently just did a walk. They did the 3 Canals walk. It was 4 days, and they raised money for us for that side. So people just go off and do it themselves, and other times we as a charity will sort of organize activities. So it's always good to go on our website, which is the hairandbeautycharity.org, or go onto our Instagram accounts. We've got a Facebook and an Instagram account, so often we're putting activities and various things on there. But yeah, at the moment it's all about the raffle tickets. So that's what we were doing on Monday night, and we've got another event on Monday afternoon with the Fellowship for British Hairdressing, who again have very kindly allowed us to go and harass people on their tables.
Oh, that's so good, so good. Where do you kind of see the charity in around 5 years time? What growth is there going to be?
Well, I think we've got to keep this momentum going, because of what's happened during COVID is, I think prior to this, it was we used to rely on a lot of going to exhibitions, maybe manufacturers inviting us to talk to their staff, and it was very sort of in real time, in real person, and so forth, sort of thing. So, I might go and do, or one of the committee members, we might go and do a talk to maybe 30 or 40 people or 20 people. We might be in an exhibition. And it's quite small and targeted. But I think what happened during COVID was obviously we couldn't do that. So we had to, adapt and do Instagram lives and do talks and things like that. Suddenly, we can reach, 1,000 people, 2,000 people in one phone call. And I think that is definitely where the charity needs to go. We really need to sort of embrace this digital revolution where we're talking on podcasts, where we're talking on Instagram Lives, because the more people that we talk to, the better. During COVID as well, I came up with a rather fun idea, which I kind of, it took quite a lot out of me, but I decided that we did it years ago. We did this cookbook, a charity cookbook. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to do like an ebook? So I thought, right, I'm going to put the feelers out to a few friends in the industry, expecting around about 10-15 people to reply. I had over 50 hair, nail, beauticians, makeup artists, all going, Sam, I'm doing it. So we suddenly had this book that we had to promote as well. So if any of your listeners are cooks or want to be cooks, we've got the most amazing experts who basically, they went and they cooked, they filmed it or they shot it, and then they provided this great recipes. So the book's definitely still available. It's £10 and you can buy it online. It's an ebook and all the money goes to the charity. Everybody from Sam McKnight to Marion Newman to Lisa Potter Dixon to all these fabulous names, Errol Douglas and so forth, Richard Ward, all gave their time to me. I thought it was going to take me a few weeks. It was about a 3-4 month project in the end, because as you can imagine, collating that from that many people and then designing it and everything. But that really helped us, again, like kickstart, a kind of conversation. So we did a lot of social media around that. A lot of Errol very kindly was involved, because Errol and I were sort of chatting about this idea ages ago. So we kind of helped sort of come into fruition. So it's quite nice. So I think as a charity, we need to keep this momentum going. We need people to know that we aren't a small, the charity wasn't created because of COVID. There's been various different initiatives and sort of various companies over the last few years have sort of come up in our industry, but this charity has been going since 1836. We've been helping people all the way through, and it's been wonderful that we've been able to help people during COVID, but we are still going to be helping people hopefully for the next 180 odd years. So as a charity, we need to keep that momentum building, that people in the professional sector know who we are, and basically become recognize. We call ourselves the industry charity. I don't think anybody else can really touch what we do. So I think we need to be recognized en masse as being the industry of choice. Definitely. Charity of choice.
And I think, like you said, being more digital now, you can reach so many more people. And you guys that are listening, there's thousands and thousands of you that listen to this podcast. So if you can screenshot your phone that you're listening to this podcast, share it on social media, I'm sure Sam and the team and me will be extremely grateful just to spread that word even more and help as many people as we can within our industry. Definitely. So Sam, thank you for giving up your time today. I'm sure if people want to get in touch, they can direct you to the website.
Yep. So the website is www.hairandbeautycharity.org, or you can then go and find us on Instagram and Facebook as well. So I think it's HB Charity UK. But if you go to the website, then you can link into the social from that side as well.
Perfect. Thank you very, very much. Like I said, everyone, if you could share away, say that you've listened to the podcast, get other people to listen to it so they can hear more about the hair and beauty charity too. That would be amazing. Thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you. It was a really great opportunity.
Are you looking to start a new career in permanent makeup or improve your skill set? Training at the Laura Kay London Academy will give you the skills and confidence you need to set up your own business. All courses are recognised and accredited, including advanced courses in nanoblading, microblading and micropigmentation. Training one-to-one or very small groups, Laura and her elite team will guide you and help develop your career, with the support continuing long after your course ends. Using the best tools and learning the latest techniques from a world-class permanent makeup artist. Call one of our expert team today to find out more.